Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Spin It Social Hour. How is everyone this morning? I hope everyone had a really peaceful and safe Thanksgiving. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with you this morning for the 34th episode of the Spin It Social Hour. I have to tell you, I started this project, this passion of mine, this labor of love, born out of care and concern for the photo community back when the pandemic started. And it is evolving into a wonderful community. And I am just so happy to have everybody join us every week to contribute to this community and to most of all, help spread the word about these great photographers and their work and their journeys, most of all, because this is really about storytelling. This is a get comfortable hour. Hour and 15 minutes sometimes, but it's a really comfortable morning on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock. We do it every Saturday, bringing you the best photographers from around the world, and it's amazing. So I am a social media and visual strategist. Once again, my name is Steffen Kaplan. I have worked with the likes of the Pulitzer Prizes, AARP, the Jackson Charitable Foundation, and I work consistently with Sri Srinivasan and his DigiMentors team doing live streaming and other social media events virtually now around the world. And I am also an adjunct professor at FIT. I am a former photo editor at the New York Times for over 15 years in the wire service. And that is where I really, really learned so much over the years from all of these photographers, many of whom I know, I know virtually, but one way or another, we're a family and we're a community, and that's why we're here, to tell stories, show great work, and bring on some great, just photojournalists out there. So we are going to get started here, and I am going to give you the build-up. I'm going to give Rick Friedman the build-up that he deserves. An amazing photographer, good friend, master of lighting, Bostonian. He's been in Boston his whole life. Amazing guy. So let's give him the build-up that he deserves. Here we go. Since the mid-1970s, Boston-based photojournalist Rick Friedman has traveled the world for numerous corporations and publications, as well as on assignments for film, television, and advertising clients. His work has appeared in Time, Stern, Newsweek, Der Spiegel, The Guardian, PDN, and the New York Times. Rick has produced more than 75 book and magazine covers and has worked on some 20 films. He is an ambassador for Tamron, Savage Universal, and Nissan Flash USA, as well as a VIP for Dynalite. Rick has won awards from the American Society of Media Photographers, the National Press Photographers Association, and the Boston Press Photographers Association, of which he is a past president. Rick has had solo exhibitions at Boston City Hall and the Boston Public Library. His works are included in the permanent collections of Harvard University and the University of Oxford. Despite more than 4 decades of pursuing and perfecting images, Rick maintains his enthusiasm for the art. It's fun. I love the challenge of all the different kinds of work I get to do. I could be covering the president one day, a noted scientist or professor the next, and then be off on a travel overseas. Truly, I have the best job in the world. Folks, I can't wait to bring him on. He is a joy to be around. Welcome, the great Rick Friedman.
Good morning, Steffen, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for getting up.
Good morning. Hey, it's 10 o'clock. Get up, people. Unless you're all still overdosing from the tryptophan from the turkey. Anyway, it's such a pleasure to have you on, Rick, man. How are things?
Thank you. It's great to be here.
How are things in Boston this morning?
Lovely. A little quiet, but it's a lovely morning here in the city.
Okay, we got a lot of people tuning in. Tim
Terrific.
Kleinman, John Cormicello. It's early in Seattle. Thank you. Neil Parek, producer extraordinaire. Marge Kleinman, there she is. Who else did I saw a couple of other people there? But anyway, John Cohen, great to see you with my friend Rick Friedman. Edward Leskin, a future guest. Bimal Nepal from Cambridge.
Terrific photographer.
Bob Veritoni, Bimal is Bob Veritoni. Pradnia Haldipur from Silver Spring, Maryland. Claudia Paul. Hello, Claudia. Stefan Falke.
Wow.
Brigitte Banda. Good morning. Good morning, Brigitte. Rigetti, I'm so sorry. So sorry. Oh, good morning from Cape Town, South Africa.
Wow, I like Cape Town a lot. What a great place.
Unbelievable. I've never been, but I hope to go one day. Wow. Okay. And Lisa Kuttner Pierno. I'm going to say it the way a kid who went to a French school my whole life said it. Anyway, good to see everybody. Roger Barnaby, and we'll go on and on. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Rick,
yes,
thank you for getting up. And, man, we had a great couple of days pulling your work together. And it is Peter De Silva from the West Coast. 7 a.m., people. 7 a.m. and he's up. Anyway, so this is going to be a wonderful hour. Rick, I've been a big fan of yours for a long time. I have to tell you, you've done so much work. We have so much to cover, so let's get to it.
Okay.
Rick, the big question, man, when did you get the bug and how did you get started?
Oh, let me say, just a few years ago now, I was teaching school, and we all know how much money school teachers make, and back then they made nothing. So I got a part-time job selling Triax in a camera store in Harvard Square, which I was eminently not qualified to do. Mm-hmm. And from working in this camera store and meeting photographers and getting into it, I had the pleasure of becoming friends with a couple of photojournalists. Mm-hmm. One worked for United Press International, a gentleman named George Riley. And when George was a young man, somebody took him in and taught him the craft. Mm-hmm. And he never forgot that. He always played it forward. So any kid who was willing to put in the time, meaning be a gopher and get a lot of coffee and make a lot of prints, he was willing to put the effort into turning you into a photojournalist. And so George gave me a lot of my training. And literally, I'd go hang out at UPI, and eventually they'd send me on assignments they didn't care about. And boy, there's nothing like the first time you see your photograph in print.
Oh, isn't it?
And fairly early on, I had a photograph that ran 1A in the Boston Globe.
Nice.
And if I wasn't hooked before that, I was definitely hooked at that moment.
Well, I have to... Go ahead, please.
No, I was going to say, and then the other person was Arthur Grace, who used to come in. And Arthur was working for Time at that point, and he would tell me stories about traveling around the country and around the world doing these assignments. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, this is what I want to do for a living. I don't want to have a real job. And then as I did it more and more, I was lucky enough to begin to get some actual assignments. And kind of one of my first breaks, I took what turned out to be the last photograph of Arthur Fiedler alive. He was normally on July 4th in Boston. He would go to the Boston Esplanade and lead the Boston Pops, and about 2/3 of the city would show up for this party. Mm-hmm. And as the gentleman was getting on in years, this was going to be the first time in 50 years that he wasn't going to be there. Mm. And I thought, well, I'll just go ring his doorbell and see if he'll see me.
Right.
And if he won't see me, nothing lost. Yeah. And I go, and I introduced myself, and his maid said, I don't think the maestro will see you. And I said, would you please ask? And she came back slightly annoyed and said, he will see you. And I went into the gentleman's bedroom, and he was lying on a perfectly pressed white pillowcase with his flowing white hair and his covers pulled all the way up, reading sheet music. And we chatted, and I made some pictures. And after I shot a roll of black and white, I reached in. Back then, I carried this enormous orange camera bag, and I had a roll of Ektachrome. So I shot that with my Vivitar 283.
Right.
And that picture, and UPI only wanted the black and white. So I called the magazines to see if they wanted it, not having a clue how you do this.
Right.
And then called one photo agency that wasn't interested. And then it occurred to me to call Black Star. Mm. And that was the beginning of a 28-year relationship with Black Star. And
you mean
Howard,
this little
that Black Star right there, yes. I have that same book on my bookshelf.
Well, folks, if you see the photo in the background there above Rick's head, which Rick's head will be changing colors, by the way.
Yes, we're going to change the color of my head.
And we'll be talking about that. That photo in the background is the biggest photo in the Black Star book. I collect over 200 books, and I pulled this out to find Rick's photo. Because Black Star is a legendary agency. If you don't know about it, Google it.
It was a terrific place to be. I mean, the folk, Howard Chapnick and Jeanette Chapnick, who owned it and ran it, treated all the photographers like we were their kids.
Yep.
It was just an amazing place to be. And I had the honor of working there with, people like Jim Knockway and the Turnley brothers and Tony Swa and Dennis Brock. It was an amazing place to be.
Yeah, just a little name dropping. That's all.
A couple of the absolute best in the world.
James Knockway, the Turnley brothers. Right. I have them on every day. But we will get them on.
You should get them on. They're all great people.
I'm determined. I know David. I'm on David one day. Peter worked very hard over the pandemic. Incredible. Beyond
his new book's terrific.
His new book is phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely terrific.
And we'll be talking about that one day. But anyway, let's continue about talking about Rick Friedman here. So, Rick, having edited some of the best over the years at the Times, I've always admired everything you've done and your lighting and your composition and everything. But the main thing with you is that you always, and you say it time and time again, you always have fun doing what you're doing.
It's much better than having a real job.
Well, like you said, it's the best job in the world. You've been quoted as saying, because you get to pop in and out of people's lives. You get to absorb all of their knowledge an hour at a time over years, right?
Yeah, I'd say I get paid to run around the world, play with my toys, and hang out with fascinating people. It could be a world leader one day, it could be a crime story the next, and then go hang out with the homeless for a while.
And you've done great work with the homeless too, showing the really important side of life and humanity that way. They're
not homeless.
We're gonna dive right in with politics, because we are in. Well, God help me for saying this. We are still in the middle of this, but we're coming. The light's at the end of the tunnel right now.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the next campaign's already starting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the next campaign's already starting, and I can hardly wait till January 20th. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Transition is underway, but transition right here is this amazing, into our visual storytelling for the hour, is this amazing photograph of Bill and Hillary that's in the book, like I showed everybody, in the Black Star book. And tell us about it. Tell us about working on the campaign trail. We'll go through a bunch of photos and tell us all about the ins and outs within reason of doing, political work like this.
Well, I was going to say, I've only been covering the first presidential campaign I did was Carter, which I was just beginning. And, first time I was sent to photograph Jimmy Carter, I remember saying it was this gentleman, George Riley. And I'm thinking, he said, go photograph Jimmy Carter. He's running for president. And I think, Jimmy, who he's running for what? And if the guy's really running for president, why are you sending me? And that sort of evolved by the next campaign, when I was covering Reagan and Bush 41, when in the New Hampshire primary. By that point, fortunately, I was already working for Newsweek.
Right.
And, campaigns, it seems... I had to laugh at this picture. This was a Hillary Clinton event way up in northern New Hampshire, and they set up these press areas. And my shooting partner and I get up there, and there are these press areas. There's nobody there. That's just press areas. So obviously, when the event happened, we completely ignored the press areas. But as each campaign has gone on, there seem to be more and more restrictions. Spontaneous stuff happens less and less.
Right.
Whereas I know a couple pictures you're going to show give you an idea of the kind of access that we used to have.
Right.
With our current president, everything from the time he started to run was completely choreographed.
Right. Hey, Rick, turn your hair a different light so this way everybody
can see. I'm sorry. Yes, I can't.
Because you're leaning a little and the light's coming straight.
I'm actually toppling over.
Right. Rick's going to talk about all the way he can create his different hair colors on the air here. But, the thing about this photo is just God, I remember back in the days, I'd go out with different people and I'd work different events. And, man, it was just so much easier. My God, everything even before the pandemic hit, well, especially before the last 10 years, I would say, became so blockades everywhere, this and that. Remember the access we used to have?
We used to just, now for most events, even in the primary season, you need to apply for credentials ahead of time, as opposed to in the past where you would just show up. I mean, once somebody announced they were running,
right,
especially in New Hampshire and Iowa,
right,
you would go to their first event, and wherever they went, you would just follow them.
right.
There was none of this. You only went to public events.
Right.
Well,
the thing is, like, I remember, I'll just tell, this is your story, so not mine, but
that's okay. Feel free to.
No, but I just want to say one thing. It reminded me of the time I was in Times Square, the years I was documenting the NYPD. Because I have photos on Law and Order. Those are my photos that opened the show. But anyway, I'm in the middle.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, the SVU show. So the thing is that I'm sitting in the middle of Times Square in the ESU truck with the ESU Truck One guys. And these tourists were asking me to go get them pancakes and coffee at McDonald's because nobody could move. You can't move. Once you're in the pen, that's it. You're done. Right. So you have to stand there for hours waiting for the ball to drop. I don't know how those people do it. At least I was in the truck with the guys and I had access. But remember those, all those wild days?
I was going to say, the one time I did the ball drop, we were actually up on the roof.
Oh.
When it came down.
Okay.
That was rather cool. But
I had Anthony Quintano on last week.
Great stuff.
Great photographer, amazing guy, great photographer. And he's been all the way up with the ball way at the top. He does all this crazy GoPro stuff and other things, man.
Yeah, I didn't go up at the pole.
No, I
just went to the roof of the building.
Yeah, I'd get dizzy that way. I'll stick to roofs.
And it's such an odd thing, like when you're going, they tell you where to go. They say, well, you just walk into Walgreens and tell them you need to go up to the ball. And it's like, the first time I went, it's like, wait, so I walk into a drugstore and say, I want to go up to where the Times Square ball is. And sure enough, that's how you do it.
Anyway, but speaking of going up, I wanted the show to go up, but numbers and everything. So I want everybody to share because I want everybody to know about Rick Friedman and everything. So
thank you.
Hit the share button. Likes are great. We love your hearts. We love your likes. We love your wows and all the little other icons. But hit that share button. Make sure your friends can see this broadcast too, because they're all archived now and live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. So we're live on every platform, but it's also being archived on YouTube, all 34 shows so far. And Rick is number 34. So, Rick, here we are. We go from what we just showed to back in the saddle again with...
Yeah. This was my first Newsweek cover.
Yep.
And I was assigned towards the end, the New Hampshire primary, I was assigned to Bush 41.
Okay.
So I was covering Bush 41, and comes primary night, and, I go and up to the hotel room and photograph them watching, the returns on TV. And then the gentleman I'm with loses the primary. So, we get down into the ballroom and I photograph his speech, and not being remotely daunted by the fact that I wasn't credentialed to cover Reagan. I just jumped in my car. I drove from Manchester, New Hampshire to Concord, New Hampshire, literally dumped my car in a snowbank, grabbed my cameras, and ran into the ballroom at the Holiday Inn in Concord and kind of politely said, excuse me, and worked my way to the third row. There were two rows of photographers in front of me, and I kind of said to friends, well, if you lean your head a tiny bit to the left or you lean your head a tiny bit to the right, I can get another lens in here.
Right.
And, people really cooperate. We're all out there together.
We're all out there to get the
what goes around comes around.
That's right.
And so, not thinking anything of it, I went and I took my Canon 8U1 and my 51.4. And this was actually shot as a horizontal. It was not shot as a vertical.
Okay.
And, shot it. And, when you finished, right, you called a courier. You took all the film in your pocket.
Right.
And you threw it in an envelope and you called a courier, and off it went to New York.
So speaking of getting in, a little to the left, please, a little to the right, please. Let me squeeze through a little, folks. Okay, we got it. We're all happy. We're good. I'd never do that or never get in front of a video guy.
No. If you tell them you're going to stay down, you need to stay down because they have memories like elephants. But if they know you and they know that you will not get in their way, I mean, maybe because I've been at this a long time, but I can show up at most events and there'll be a camera crew that I know and they'll go, yeah, Rick, you can squeeze right in here. We'll get you in.
Right.
Because the camera crews, inevitably, especially the network crews, they're there hours before we are.
Hours. Yeah, because they have so much more to set up.
They have way more fine photographic junk than we do.
They do. Yeah. They have many more wires too.
Yeah. So,
Rick, what a beautiful photo here.
Thank you.
I'm just hoping that afterwards, and I'm only joking here, folks, that Nancy didn't hit Ron with the cake in the face.
Oh, that would have been a great friend. But
that would have been a great photo, though, man.
I was pretty happy with this. And again, this gentleman was leading in the polls. This was shortly before the primary. And the fact that, this is shot with a 24 millimeter lens.
Right.
And that you can be right in front of them, and you're not getting pushed out of the way by security or campaign aides, or you don't have, I find you go to a lot of events and you have people from the campaign who come up and go, your picture is from over there. That'll be a good picture.
Well, Robert Duffy here is saying that I always took care of you on the presidential campaign trail.
Bob Duffy.
Were we talking about food here? What are we talking about?
No. Bob Duffy, was on the Clinton campaign.
Okay.
And working with Bob was one of the few press guys on a campaign, or press people, who understood the difference between what a still photograph is and what a TV image is. Mm-hmm. And he didn't throw us all together.
Okay.
So, yes, we've done, over the years, we've done a lot of projects together.
Okay. But I tell you, we know this photo is true because we know about their relationship for, the eternity. And, they were one of the, say what you want about whatever president, they were a couple that were. I'm
just laughing at Duffy's comment.
Oh, what
Rick always knew to be nice to the advanced guys.
All right, we're getting some flack.
And we're still friends.
But you've also done. We're going to go through a bunch of these here. Look at John. Wow, what a beautiful portrait of him. I love the pensive moment here. Classic black and white. You're from Mass, you're from Boston and everything. You must have quite the collection of shots of the Kennedys.
Just a few.
Just a few, right?
Yeah.
We
coming up, it was like, you did Kennedy. It seemed like you did Kennedy events every week.
Right. Well, that's why we wanted to throw at least one in, but we also wanted to get to some really other classic ones like this one here of Bush Senior and Junior. Man, what the two presidents here sitting next to each other, 41 and 43. You got to love the hats. Tell us about this, Rick.
This is at the Cape Arundel Country Club up in Kennebunkport, Maine.
Right.
And Bush 40. They were both very nice. Bush 41 was terrifically nice to work with.
Right.
They'd go play golf, and we just kind of go with them.
Right.
As opposed to, covering Obama playing golf.
Right.
Not only were you not there,
right,
but, if it was your pool day with Obama, they would put you in a bus and take you far away from the golf course. And you'd sit there for hours while he played golf.
Wow.
And if you could figure out an angle, inevitably a Secret Service guy would appear out of nowhere and stop you, even though you were on public property. Whereas with Clinton and Bush, even if it wasn't your pool day and you showed up, you got to do it.
Right.
And of course, you look at the stuff people are photographing now of our current president, where I think they're shooting across the Potomac to get the pictures.
Let's just say this, man. It's refreshing to see two, presidents, past presidents that represented the office incredibly well. Many others did, and we'll be glad to get
this that. This was actually Michael Moore used this in his movie.
Yeah, I know. I recognize this frame. It's a very famous because, it's also a great image, but being in Michael Moore's film, I'm sure bumped it up a lot.
It's been published a lot.
Bimal says great shots.
Yeah, thank you, Bimal.
Bimal is a great photographer. I met Bimal when I came to Boston for the first time in a long time, and I met up with Estras. Suarez. I met
Suarez.
Suarez. I was in Boston for an AARP convention and Life Reimagined that I worked for. And I met up with Bimal purposely because I really, really liked him a lot. Met him online through Estras, and we met up. What a sweet guy. And he's turned himself into a great photographer and businessman in Cambridge. Check him out. We'll have him on one day on the show. Bimal, you're going to be a guest one day. I'm going to get you on here. Anyway, getting through some other pictures here. I mean, look, the access back then. I mean, could you imagine these days trying to do some of this stuff?
Yeah. So this is the two presidents, Bush and French President Sarkozy.
Right.
In Kennebunkport, Maine. And Bush 41 had this cigarette boat. I mean, it looked like a classic Florida drug runner boat. And he would just go bombing through the bay. And, you'd get out there and, if it was your pool day, they'd put you in a boat. And obviously, not only would you be checked out by Secret Service, but the Navy SEALs would come and check out the bottom of the boat and everything. But if it wasn't your pool day, you could go sit up on the rocks with a long lens and they'd come by.
There you go. And you nailed this.
They weren't hiding. They would come to you. Yeah.
And you nailed it. It's a gorgeous.
And, it was really tough duty to have to go to Kennebunkport for 2 weeks. And live in a country. And you said eat a lot of lobster rolls. It was just required.
That's hard living right there, man. That's hard living. then you have the shots of working the inauguration and everything and other moments. I mean, what a perfect picture between, with the glass, with the rain, with Bush 41 behind 43 and Laura looking on, the Secret Service guy. I think he's a Secret Service guy on the right.
On the right with the mustache, he definitely looks like a Secret Service guy.
Looks like a Secret Service guy. He's got his eye on someone.
Yeah, probably me.
Probably. That's that Friedman guy, I guess.
So we're across the street in a reviewing stand.
Right.
Which is very nice because we had a roof over us.
Right.
The people covering the parade just got wet.
No. Don't want to get the equipment wet. But beautiful shot.
Thank you.
Of course, you love I'm going to say this sincerely. You love the normal campaign moments, not the hey, Pittsburgh, I'm here only. I'm never coming here again. Anyway, let's not. I have to. Sorry, it's the truth is the truth. Let's get back to civility here. One of the best and most amazing presidents, in my opinion, that we've had.
And he was delightful to work with.
I bet.
When he was running, I spent a lot of time covering him, traveling with him.
Right.
This particular one, this is up in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
And I somehow managed to get into the room and I just plastered myself against the wall and I knew where he was going to go. He was going to come into the room and go behind the bar. And this is, a little bit on the technical end of this. So this is a mixture of bounce strobe on camera and exposing for the background.
Okay.
So it's a fairly slow shutter speed because if I shot it at a higher shutter speed, yes, he would have been lit properly by the strobe.
Right.
However, the background would have gone dark. By dropping my shutter speed way down, he's still sharp. Yeah, there's a little movement in the back, but we don't really care. As I put it, you want to know. You want to be able to see what's going on back there, but you don't really much care about it. But it's better than that drop off of the black wall.
No, I love.
Yeah, and it's literally in a situation like that. I mean, I don't know if you can see it there. So this is a Nissan MG80 Flash, which is my standard speed light now. And then in a news situation, can you see this? Yeah. So I'll just stick this little Steffen dome on it.
Right.
If I'm not in a news situation, I'll use something called flash benders.
Okay.
Which give me, is there one nearby? Will give me a small softbox. Mm-hmm. Oh, hang on. I'm going to spin around. I thought I put one out here somewhere.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't.
I'm going to give myself a little more light here. Hold on a second. The light is...
well, I think one's about to appear. But anyway, so it'll give me a small softbox. But in a crowd situation, you can't use that because, it's going to get knocked off. Mm-hmm. If you're shooting a wedding and you're the only photographer there, it's perfect. And here comes one right now. Thank you, Karen. So this, you can see this thing.
Well, Holly Kaufman-Soul says she really appreciates the great stories with every image. Well, that's what we're here for.
Yep.
So thank you, Holly. Holly was a previous guest.
Thank you.
She lives in Providence, Rhode Island with her husband, Jim. They are a great couple who we had on the show. Check them out, Holly and Jim Soul. Anyway, go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, so anyway, if I work like this, okay, now I've got to
move it, stream and live stream. It's a little backwards, so you got to move it the other way. There
we go. How's that? Okay, so now I've got a small softbox on top of my speed light on top of my camera, and I'm going to get nice soft light. But again,
raise it up a little more so everybody can see it, and over the other way now.
There you go.
Look at that, folks. There you go.
In a news situation, you can't use this, but it's great light.
All right, but no, I love the lighting on this photo. It's perfect. And then, this photo warms my heart because it's just such a wonderful thing to see, President Obama with his daughter bike riding and everything and doing normal things and enjoying things. But, this is the part of the campaign trail that's really fun, right? I mean,
well, yes, it is fun once you do it. But I mean, this is on Martha's Vineyard, which is another tough place to have to go spend a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And the way this sort of works, I mean, this particular day we had a 7 a.m. pool call.
Right.
That meant the traveling press had to be at the meeting point, which was a bus in a parking lot at 7 a.m.
Right.
And really, to shorten the story, we get on the bus, we sit there for a couple of hours, we get driven up island, where we get off the bus, and we sit around another hour or so. Then we get in vans because the bus is too big to put in the motorcade.
Right.
And it blocks the view of some of the security vehicles. So you're in vans, and you kind of have assigned seats in the van, and we go further up island where we're actually we get off, and now they sweep our equipment, they sweep us, we have a pass for the trip, but then you also get a different color pass.
Right.
And hang on. I just happen to have a couple handy.
Rick's got a
so this is like from I got a million press. So this is from like the last trip that I did with the president, and then this is the daily Secret Service pass.
Wow, look at that! Oh, that's the really really special one.
Yeah. So but if you show up, if you have one of these and it's the wrong color,
right,
they know you're not supposed to be there.
Oh yeah.
So the colors change per day.
Yep.
So anyway, we finally go, and the motorcade comes, and we're in the back half, so the front half comes out of where the president is staying, and then we fall in, and we drive to the other end of the island where our end of the motorcade breaks off, and they now take us into a field.
Right.
So it's just the traveling press, and they say, you see that bike path? The president is going to ride his bicycle out of that opening. So everybody who rides out of that opening prior to the president, they come out of this tranquil place in the woods.
Right.
And they are greeted by this wall of photographers and TV cameras who are practicing on them. So they come out, and we're there like...
I want the photo of everybody shooting them while somebody's shooting you guys.
There are pictures of us doing it.
I know, that's what I want. I love those photos. Those photos, really are amazing. But then,
let me quickly finish it. When the president comes out on this,
right,
your whole shoot is about 30 seconds. It's like hope it's in focus.
That's it.
And we wrapped that day at about 11 o'clock, and we never saw him again all day.
Wow. Yeah, but then you went to go edit, and then you got to go eat lobster rolls again.
That's right. You eat a lot of meals on the press bus.
Hey, that's the way it goes. But then we get to, man, I could sit here, and I'll sit here with my StreamYard cup of coffee. By the way, StreamYard is the platform that I use to do this great show on. And cheers to them for the swag. I love my StreamYard mug. But anyway, I could sit there and I could look at this with a cup of coffee in my hand all day, man, and just daydream, because I tell you, this is it, man. You don't get better than this, Rick.
And you don't get much closer.
No, but I mean you
without getting arrested.
Your portrait of Obama here is this is absolutely perfection.
I'll tell you. So this is shot with an 85 millimeter lens.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the stuff that I've shot recently of Trump, my normal lens is a Tamron 100 to 400 lens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So at 100, I'm doing wide angle pictures.
Wow.
And then sometimes I'm sticking an extender on it.
But the clarity, the light, it's it's stunning. It's stunning. Anyway, but then, there's also the other need to create other types of magic when you're doing this type of work, as we know, and getting beautiful silhouettes. Another thing, I love this silhouette of Beto,
No. Yeah, but it was, I put the sun in the right place for that.
Oh, you did.
It's like that. You're kind of wandering around like, okay, if I lean down, I can get the sun directly behind him.
Well, I'll use the word stuff as what I'm going to describe for Gary Hirshhorn, but you photographers like you and Gary Hirshhorn and other people know that you have to be the kings of lining stuff up with other stuff.
Yep.
I'm not going to use the S word the other way that I used to. Mark Lundy, I'm sorry, I have to learn how to pronounce his name correctly, Mark. But Mark said a great quote one day of Gary Hirshhorn where he said, Gary's the king of lining S up with others S up. Anyway, here we go with Elizabeth Warren, another beautiful classic black and white here. Just wow. I mean, man, I tell you, you and the light, man. Anybody ever tell you know what you're doing?
No, not yet.
And then we go on to parades and stuff. I love this shot of Bernie, man.
It's interesting. This was towards the end of the Milford, New Hampshire Labor Day parade.
Okay.
And I had done other parades with Bernie, and I'm thinking this Milford parade's about a mile and a half.
Okay.
And this is almost at the end that, boy, he was just having a great time that day. Right. He was running back and forth, and then this woman grabbed him, and he just reacted like that. So, of course, he didn't have to walk back to the start where the cars were.
No, great image. But I tell you, I've seen a lot of presidential plane shots. But this one of 45's plane landing or taking off.
No, it's landing. It's coming into Manchester, New Hampshire.
Landing. I mean, what a perfect.
About a month ago.
What a perfect wave of people on both sides. And just a perfectly composed photo. Talk about this one for a sec, Rick.
Well, part of this is how do you get to the right spot?
Right.
And, on covering certainly President Trump, but generally sitting presidents, unless you're in the tight pool, you're probably on the riser.
Okay.
Some presidents, you're allowed to move around.
Right.
Some you're not. With Trump, for the most part, you're really not.
Right.
So a lot of people will go to cover the event from the riser, and the riser quite often makes very good pictures.
Right.
And they'll stand go on to be dead center on the top level in the back because you're up the highest. I don't want to be there because I always feel like you're penned in, you can't get out.
Right.
So I want to be somewhere near the stairs.
Right.
So I kind of had eyed that this was a potential photograph and was set up next to the stairs. And as the plane's about to land, I just walked off the riser, went to the spot that I'd predetermined might work, and hoped the plane would drop into the photograph, and it did.
And man,
right before it touched down.
It dropped right in. Right in, and soon it's going to be dropping right out. Anyway, covering. Let's leave it to the fact that covering this guy must have been a whirlwind every time he was around.
Well, it's if you're in the back, it's not all that different. The challenge is how do you get to someplace, and it is our job in both of these pictures as the photojournalist. It is our job to cover what happens. If it happens in front of me, I'm going to make the picture. No, I'm not setting it up.
Yeah.
What I have some control over is my angle. Right. So this particular photograph is shot from ground level. I've come off the riser. I'm kind of shooting in between the people. Right. And this was kind of going to blue hour. Right. And I'm watching the light in the background. Right. And his people have lit this. They have about half a dozen RE6Ks, which are these enormous movie lights. And they're huge generators to power them, and they've got them up on aerial lifts. So the light on him is not going to change. What is going to change is the light in the background. So now it's a matter of reading the light off of him, and in this case, I'll use the spot meter in the camera, and reading the light off the background and watching the balance. And as the light in the background is dropping and getting more and more intense, that's when I want to make the picture.
Right, folks, you are getting a classic lesson here from one of the masters of lighting, Rick Friedman.
Yeah, I mean, my line on this is these sort of pictures is, expose for the element you can't control or the element that is changing. And in this case, it's the sky. The light on him is constant.
Right. Well, let's move on to the president-elect. Okay. All right. I don't mean to get so excited. Joe Biden here. What a great picture. But first, I want to take a break for a second, and I want to see if we have any shout-outs here to give, new viewers, other viewers. I know there's a lot of comments flowing in. We've got a great live viewership going on of at least over 35 people here live with us. And it's been a wonderful discussion so far. So, Jonathan, do we have any things? And now, if there's any comments that were put in, we have Tim Sohn here from Pennsylvania, Stefan Falke's back, and many others. But John Cornicello, it's early in Seattle. Yeah.
Good morning. Thanks for getting up.
Anyway, one of the things that Edward's here. Good morning to you, Mr. Kaplan. Thank you, Edward. Edward's a future guest soon this month. One of the things I want to say about this photo, and I know we talked about it, is that, this was a moment that you just don't expect. So these are the beautiful moments that you want to get on the campaign trail, that Dr. Chitachi in-house Media Scope, that you want to get these photos, because these are the moments, man, that will go down in the books that you'll always remember, in my opinion. Talk about this moment with.
Well, this was when President-elect Biden ran last time. And it was early in the campaign. And, early in campaigns in New Hampshire and Iowa, there are a lot of house parties, meaning if somebody thinks they're qualified to be president, you can invite them to come over for, tea and cookies.
Right.
So he's waiting to speak at somebody's home. And I just love the fact that here's the guest of honor, the man who wants to be president, and they don't have a chair for him.
Right.
So the only place for the gentleman to sit was in the door frame.
See, that's Joe Biden for you. The guy rides the trains. He's such a great, even-keeled guy. He shoots from the lip too, but he's even-keeled, very great, very good temper. And everything, and keeps it real. But this is him. He keeps it real. He sat down, he waited, he was cool,
Yeah. And it's, again, this was, you go to these things and you get this kind of access.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, again, less and less. This is, Joe, obviously this go round.
Yeah, this is the go round. I mean, this is go round. He's getting his selfies in and everybody's thrilled.
Well, somebody wanted to do a selfie, and Joe was like, "Here, let me do that. I know how to do this."
I love it. Let me tell you, I do. Being a social media and visual strategist, hats off to Joe. He's got good position with the camera and a good grip. Good grip on the smartphone, Joe. A+ from a teacher here of smartphone photography. Anyway, let's move on here. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next great.
She is not running for president.
She is not, but
no,
I'll vote.
Not that I'm aware of.
I'll vote for her. she's beautiful. Just saying, she's just beautiful. That's all.
Anyway, Tatiana.
What I'm going to say is that we're going to talk about the great aspects of Rick Friedman lighting here, and he's going to tell you about a bunch of shots here that we're going to show, and we're going to talk about a bunch of things. This is classic Rick Friedman studio photography. Look at the beauty of this photo. Rick, can you light your hair up in purple for this one?
I suppose I could make my hair purple for
Rick's
this.
Got his lighting behind him. He's going to show you can even do it while he's on the air here.
So, yeah. So what I'm actually using to do this, there, let me kind of move so people can see the light. Okay. There's the light.
Show them the toys.
So that light is called a Savage RGB wand. And you can make it any color you want. So I tend to use it as a hairline light, but I also use it in light painting. And we're going to show you some of those.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want my hair to go purple, there you go. I have purple hair.
Woo-hoo.
So all I'm doing is I've got an app on my phone.
Right.
And with this app, I'm literally there. I have red hair now. I literally can choose any color I want, or I can set it to change. So this particular goes electric. Okay, you like the purple, huh? There we go.
Edward's a classic Leica user, but he loves the colors, man. So anyway, this photo is absolutely stunning. So
thank you.
We're going to show some photos that actually show, like, here we have your assistant.
So this is my former assistant, now my shooting partner, and a terrific photographer in her own right. This is Keiko Hiromi.
Yeah.
And Keiko and I have worked together for many years. This is down in our studio.
Somebody's asking you for their wand back, Rick. Did you clip somebody's wand? Who was that?
That's John's, yeah.
That's John. Okay.
The answer, John, is no, you cannot have it back.
All right. Well, we have another comment there. Who was that for a second?
That was Hyana Jang.
Hyana Jang, yes.
Yeah.
Rogers. Yes, there was a light behind Rick.
Yeah, who also worked with us.
So tell us about Keiko and tell us about your work with her.
Well, I was going to say, the last couple of frames, kind of very different lighting techniques.
Right.
So this particular photograph of Keiko, which we planned together, like I said, in our studio, and we call our studio the Photographic Test Kitchen. That's the Photographic Test Kitchen.
That's like the food show, the Test Kitchen. What is that?
Yes, except I don't know how to cook. I can cook with light, not food. So we have to get takeout. But it is, yes, we see clients here and we do all sorts of setups, but on some of the more elaborate shoots before a major job, we'll actually come into the studio and we'll rehearse what we're going to do when we get to location.
Well, there comes a time where, you're a great storyteller and everything, so, but we have to add to the equation here. Good morning.
Oh, there's Miss Keiko. Good morning, Miss Keiko.
Surprise. Rick, you should know by now. You tried to circumvent my surprise this week. You were determined to bring Keiko on.
Right.
I made sure she let you know she was busy because she was busy planning it with me.
Oh, Miss Keiko.
I used my favorite photographer's excuse. I have a shoot. I can't be there.
She had a live streaming shoot with us. So anyway, you knew I was going to bring somebody on. So anyway, I had to bring Keiko on because you talk so highly of her, and I wasn't going to let you ruin.
Her work is brilliant.
I wasn't going to let you ruin my surprise. Anyway, I'm going to let you two talk about the beauty of putting a photo like this together. And then in a few minutes, I'm going to show a quick clip from a video I have.
So this was a joint collaboration between Keiko and I. I think we were more or less just playing in the studio to try some things. But what we've got here is it's a long exposure.
Mm-hmm. 6 seconds. 6 seconds.
Okay. The
I
camera,
reviewed it.
The main, you reviewed it. Okay, good.
F11. I was over 100.
Oh, this is our friend Morocco.
Morocco flowers. Okay.
Yeah. So what we did is, when this photograph was taken, I'm actually standing behind Keiko. So I am using the wand that's behind my head.
Okay.
And it's a 6 second exposure, and I'm actually twirling the wand.
Wow.
I'm sorry, what was that, Keiko?
F11.
Oh, is that the international sign for twirling?
11 and 12.
All right. So the light, we've set the light so it's actually changing colors itself.
Okay.
We can control which colors and we can control how long, but I'm just twirling it around in a totally dark room.
Right.
We've got one Nissan speed light, sitting with a pocket wizard on it, and we have 3 positions marked out, and the strobe is fired 3 times. So Keiko moves in between the exposure. That's it, yes. And it took a couple of tries to get it.
This is so much fun to see. And I got to tell you, what did Peter De Silva say? Throw Peter's comment back up on the screen, Jonathan. Jonathan Borstein is driving the car behind the scenes. We'll be bringing him on in a bit. Rick, I think you need a set of Time Life ASC scores to round out your gear. Okay. Rick,
Can't begin to imagine how much gear there is in this place.
Oh, I can only imagine.
This was a really fun shoot.
Let's take a quick look. Hold on a second. I'm going to take this off the screen here, Keiko and Rick. And hold on one second. I'm going to actually share this. I'm going to mute
Keiko, do you like my purple hair?
I do like your purple hair. Just stay your no bubble hip.
Okay. Oops. Oh, hi, I'm Rick Friedman, and welcome to the Photographic Test Kitchen. We're going to be doing portrait light painting today with the help of my shooting partner, Keiko. For the light painting, we're going to be using a Savage RGB Pro Painter wand. Now, this is a really cool light. This light, you can get hundreds of colors out of this light, and you control it with an app from your iPhone. This photograph was shot using a Tamron 24-70 G2 lens, which is my go-to lens, on a Nikon D850 camera body. For exposure, I shot this at 6 seconds on a tripod at f/16 at ISO 100. This is a single 6-second exposure where the speed light fires 3 times, freezing Keiko in 3 different positions. We pre-marked the positions on the studio floor with gaffer tape. What we have set up here is a Savage painted gray backdrop. And we're using a Nissan DI700A speedlight with a Rogue grid on it. We're going to be firing it all with 4 Pocket Wizard +3s. Now, I want to fire my camera remotely. When I fire the Pocket Wizard in my hand, it sends the signal to the one on the camera. That fires the camera, and that sends the signal out to the receiving strobe. When the strobe sent one indoors, don't want to be too close to reflective surface.
Unmute. All right. So we gave people a taste there. Why don't you, I'm going to put that back up on the screen. Why don't you tell them a little more about the beauty of creating this image again?
It was just, the fun of light painting and the combination of the light painting and the fact that it's a triple exposure.
Right. So how much does this, just to buy a few, so our fans out there know, because I tell you, this is something that anybody can just have so much fun with. So, talk about that and what can they go pick up and where and how,
Okay. So the Savage light painting wand is, I think, $169.
Okay.
And it comes with one battery. You can buy other batteries or you can plug it in. Mm-hmm. Obviously the rest of the gear, you need some way to fire your strobe remotely.
Right.
I'm a big fan. I keep turning around because I'm looking for things that I've put over here. Anyway, somewhere I'm looking for my Pocket Wizard.
Therese Brown says, "Hey, Keiko, so great to see you guys."
Hi.
Hello, Therese. Anyway, go ahead,
hi, Therese. Yes. So, we fire them with Pocket Wizards. I use primarily +3s and +4s.
Okay.
They have a lot of capabilities. They have a very long range. As a matter of fact, they've just come out with an updated version of the ones that I use. Mm-hmm. So you no longer have to jump the channels. The updated one, I don't know who needs this, but the updated one has a range of approximately 5 miles.
Wow. Okay.
The ones that I use have a range of 1,000 feet. And then if you need to go more than 1,000 feet, they have a built-in repeater.
All right.
So you can stack them one on the other and go probably around the world with them.
The main thing I wanted to convey to everybody is look at this. You can have so much fun with creating stuff like this. Keiko, but what I want to ask you beyond the technical stuff.
And you can change the color of your hair.
Then you can. I'm getting one of those for the backdrop here now. Man.
I like the red too.
I'm gonna set that up behind me, man. All right, yeah, something to play with. But Keiko, before we move on here, I want to, hold on a second.
This is just a Keiko show.
Let me tell you something. This picture is gorgeous. So. But let me ask you, Keiko, what is it like to work with such a great photographer for so long? But what I really want to talk about is you guys have been working together for so long. It's a great bond you guys have. You guys
she still puts up with me.
You guys must really know each other well and get the job done really well every time.
We can pretty much communicate without actually talking.
Right. Yes. We have a signal saying that.
Yeah, we do. What is this? I don't know what it means.
Take the hairline lights off to the side. The strobe is not working. Instead of that, it's not working.
Well,
Move the headline lights.
Well, I want to say that, Rick, let me ask you, I mean, so many people out there are always looking for assistance. What's the most important thing in having a great assistant?
Somebody who puts up with you.
Okay, that's pretty clear.
I mean, over the years, I've, had the pleasure of working with a number of people, and
Right.
a lot of them have gone on and done phenomenally well.
Right.
It's, I mean, I tell people, it's the description of the job is, one, you have to love photography.
Right.
You're going to work long hours for bad pay and eat gas station food.
Right.
And I promise I will screw up dates for you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I have a great assistant. He's my co-producer, Jonathan Borstein. I'm going to bring him on for a second to say hello because he's driving the comments and the banners and the car behind the scenes while I do everything else. And I know he's going to approve of this photo of Keiko because he's a big hat guy. So
Good.
he is a man of many, many hats, as I call him. So, Jonathan, welcome.
Hi,
Welcome.
Jonathan.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning,
Hi,
Jonathan Borstein, everybody, my co-producer who helped out so much every week so I can do all this while he drives the car behind the scenes. Jonathan, a little about yourself, please.
I am a full-time flaneur, a sometime writer, and part-time tech.
And what do you think of this gorgeous photo of Keiko with the hat on?
It's the hashtag Hatitude.
Yay.
That's right. Jonathan has his own hashtag, by the way, called Hatitude. I love it.
Nice.
And he got me in the hats. That's why I have mine on. And, add a little flair to everything. But, Jonathan, do you have any questions for Rick or Keiko?
I have an odd one for Rick.
Okay.
Keiko will answer it for you.
Yes, I will. In Japanese.
Exactly where in Boston are you from originally?
Where am I originally from in Boston? I'm originally from Newton, and I live in the South End now.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm. I asked because my mother is from Boston, except she's not really from Boston. She's from Brookline, which is between Boston and Newton.
Right. I lived there for a while, too.
Okay. No, that's a given. But Boston is one of my favorite places, man. I tell you, I love Boston. I love the food. I love the people. I love the culture. Love the museums. Love the
drivers.
Yes. Boston drivers.
Everybody. But you and Keiko use a lot of other stuff too. Jonathan, nice seeing you. Thank you for being and doing everything you do behind the scenes.
Thank you, Jonathan.
See you very soon. All right. Okay. So one of the things I want to talk about real quick is any shout outs you want to give to any of the lighting workshops or kits and things that you use. Please go ahead and take this time to do so because people really want to know about this stuff. And then we're going to move on to some other shots of lighting. And then we're going to get into some travel stuff as we're just about at the time where we need to move on to some of that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So I teach Keiko and I don't really teach them without her.
No.
No, and Keiko and I have taught these location lighting workshops literally, Boston, New York, Seattle, the Middle East. We've gone to an event several times called the Exposure International Photography Festival.
Right, that's
in
right.
United Arab Emirates.
Yep.
It's an amazing festival. It's
we have a banner set up for them. We're going to show there so everybody can follow them and check them out.
Yeah.
Let's give people a quick taste of that. Hold on a second. Let me stop sharing the screen here for a second. Let's give them a quick taste of that so they can see what we're talking about. Hold on one sec. I got everything.
No. So I'll talk a little bit about the event. The exposure event is they bring in about 30 or 35 photographers from around the globe to do discussions and lectures. It's an absolutely amazing event. And Keiko and I have gone twice now. And it's just fascinating to go to. You have these enormous galleries. I mean, you send them the files, and then they make prints bigger than any print I've ever seen in my work. Oh, so this is our event. Look, there I am. I think I'm wearing the same shirt. So that's one of them. I got to tell you. And at the end of the event, I have to show you.
Right.
At the end of the event, the Crown Prince calls each presenter up onto the stage. They build this elaborate theater, and then they give you this statue with your name in. I've never seen my name in Arabic before. Thing weighs about 12 pounds.
Well,
anyway, so we do that one. We have done like we do WPPI, we do Photo Plus under normal circumstances.
Right.
This year for Photo Plus, we did an online presentation. We do the Society's photographic event in London, which is, if you're in that part of the world, it's a terrific event. Again, they bring in a bunch of photographers from around the globe.
Right.
You work in small groups. And
I've heard amazing things about the festival. I only hope to get there one day and hang out with you and Esther.
Well, yeah. So this is the Crown Prince, one of the sheikhs, and the Jewish guy in the middle.
It must. Seeing you, I know the one thing you've always said about the Exposure Festival, and Estras Suarez said the same thing, and Renita Roy too both have been previous guests. Look them up on the Spinach Social Hour on YouTube. Is that the way they display everything is just phenomenal, right?
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I mean, they did things like take the picture of the two presidents, Bush.
Right.
And they blew it up enormous.
Right.
And that was shot as a JPEG on a camera that was a 10 megapixel camera.
Wow.
And their printing ability, it is a truly great event. It's really the only way to describe it.
We've been running the banners so people can check them out on their website, on Instagram, and everything else. Mm-hmm. One of the things we want to do.
I was going to say real quick, we also, we do... Under normal years, we'll do a couple here in our studio or in Boston, and people come to the city, and we do some studios, some location.
Right.
This particular frame that you've pulled up now, we have a little courtyard out behind the studio. I call it the lower 40. In my case, it's feet because it's 20 feet by 40 feet, and this is in that space. This was a workshop that Keiko and I did here.
That's your backyard.
Yeah, literally, in about half the backyard, and there are poles for the neighbor's decks. They're literally super clamped to trees.
No, and we're going to let's get into just a few frames as we need to move on here. But
this is another one.
Here's a perfect example of Rick's setup when he's setting some stuff up, and he's got everything clamped to the pole and the trees. And look at the beautiful result of all this work that he puts into every portrait.
Yeah, so it's, what I like about this one is you look at the back shot, you can see there's a Roscoe smoke machine.
Right.
If you, don't have a Roscoe smoke machine, you're going to buy a can of smoke.
Right.
But the smoke machines are much, much better. And then we've got a set of Dynalites. You can see the color gels and the Pocket Wizard. But as you look from the back, you can see how big the space is that we're shooting. That's my neighbor's Jeep.
Yep.
And then, we've gelled it. So one of the things I've done is I've designed, and we see this lighting kit for Roscoe.
Hold it up and show it off to everybody. Rick actually designed, everybody, just so you know, Rick designed this lighting kit. Hold it a little to the side, the other way. Actually,
I'm going to grab another version. So what is in there? Let me just turn around and grab one back here.
Okay. All right.
So what is in the lighting kit?
Yeah. Oh, no, you got to move it the other way, Rick. There you go. Up now.
Up. There you go. Okay. Hey, this is why I'm normally not on TV. So what I did is I went to Roscoe and I said, look, these are the gels that I use in a workshop, but people generally don't necessarily want to go out and buy 20 sheets or 24 sheets of big gels and then a roll of cinefoil. And cinefoil is black tin foil. Mm-hmm. And it's something that Keiko and I use a lot in our work. It's a great light shaping tool. Right.
Yes.
So I approached them and they put this.
Allegra, a colleague of yours, says buy them. Where did she put? Buy them at Hunt's. Okay.
You can buy them at Hunt's. Yes. Hunt's Photo up here in New England. Of course, you can just go online. If you actually go to my page, go to my site, there'll be a store which only has a couple of items in it. If you want to buy the lighting kit, it will come from Hunt's. Okay. And then the other thing in the store is I do a lot of work with Think Tank, our good friends at Think Tank. They make the best camera bags. I mean, nobody beats equipment like I do, and I haven't killed one yet. And I have a couple of them that I've literally dragged around the world several times. So what if you use that link to go to the Think Tank site? Right. What you'll do is if you spend more than $50, they will send you a free small bag or a free pouch, or there is some add-on to do it that way.
Okay, show up that kit one more time since I have you full frame now on the screen. Show that off. Move it over a little. There you go. Perfect. Roscoe Lighting Location Lighting Kit by Rick Friedman. Look at that. It got his name on it. So, folks, if you want to have some fun and you want to learn some stuff, this is the way to go, is to experiment with stuff. And Rick will tell you that it's really important to experiment and just, play around with things and have fun. Right, Keiko?
Yeah. Yes. And then even the 3 Keiko picture that you were showing earlier, if you could see the video of it, it's quite funny. You see imagine the dark studio, then I'm standing with something and smiling, and then Rick is moving like this with light, and then I could hear, shut up. Not mess it up again. Let's do it one more time.
Oh, come on. We didn't hit it on the first try.
It's probably dark.
It's probably it feels like a scene out of Star Wars with the Jedi lightsabers.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the other things real quick you showed the first picture of the model. We go back to that real quick if you wouldn't mind.
You destroyed some equipment somewhere.
Tripod.
Rick, we all saw that Nikon you destroyed.
New Year's did.
But our friends at NPS repaired that destroyed camera for like $350.
Folks, this is where the storytelling on the Spin It Social Hour gets real.
So if you do me a favor, jump back a couple of frames to the woman with the dark hair. I just want to explain. Yep.
That's me. No.
This one right here. So I just want to quick
New York Convention Center.
Right. So this was at the Javits Center. Okay. She's standing in front of a white backdrop. Okay. And if you look at this, the pattern, we took a piece of cinefoil and cut a pattern out of it. Right. And then we taped 4 different colored gels to the front of the pattern, hung that off a little boom arm. Right. In front of a strobe and projected it onto the backdrop. So we projected the background. And then if you look at the model, you can see there's some purple highlight in her hair. Right. That's from, we used the Rogue grid. There I am. This thingy on a speed light with a purple gel on it. Mm-hmm. And then lit her. And the key to this multiple lighting setup is each light source has to be isolated. Right. So if my white light on her hits the background, it blows the background away. Okay. So I need to gobo it off, which I inevitably will just take another piece of cinefoil and just tape it onto the side of the flash, and that gobos it off.
Well, Keiko, I have to tell you, the job that you and Rick do on all these locations and everything and the workshops are definitely something that people should look into. Edward Leskin, Edward says, the colors actually remind me of some of my favorite Star Trek episodes from the 1960s. All right. Now we got the Trekkies on board here now.
But I have to say, his workshop, that every time I get to assist during his workshop, we go to different locations. We literally set up from the light stands to color. We decide the color of gels, and it's really, really hands-on. Then I learned so much about how I can do it in each corner of the room almost.
I can only imagine. Yeah. Look at all these beautiful photos that we're running through here. Hold on one second. One of the things I want to do, Keiko, is I wanted before I let you go, is I wanted to say thank you for being on here, number one. And number two, I wanted to say, I wanted to announce that Keiko on December 12th, Saturday, December 12th, is going to be a guest on the Spinach Social Hour. So
Yay!
Yay! Thank you so much.
We're going to show off Keiko's work as a photojournalist and all-around great photographer. And it's going to be a pleasure having you on. We set it up yesterday, so I'm looking forward to having you on Saturday, December 12th at 10 a.m. So everybody, please join us. Meanwhile, follow Keiko on Instagram at Keiko Hiromi, and be sure to check out her work at keikohiromi.com. And Keiko, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Miss Keiko.
Happy shooting.
All right.
Surprise.
If you want to stay behind the scenes, we can talk for a few minutes, and we'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
And it's up to you in a little while. Okay. Okay. All right.
Keiko is a terrific photographer. What a talent.
She is. I wanted to do a photo later with her, with us three, so she can hang out. That's great. But if not, I'll understand. So anyway, but this is a great photo too that I love so much. We kept talking about it the other day, but this is a really important photo because we went with a really important story that Brad Smith, our colleague and dear friend, assigned to you for Sports Illustrated, dealing with head trauma and athletes. And this is a real brain, right?
That is an actual human brain. Yes.
Wow.
And this, the idea is we wanted to tie all the pieces together. You had a big MRI machine. This is at Mass General.
Okay.
You couldn't get into, first of all, you can only get in to photograph the machine with a lot of planning and permissions.
Right.
And you couldn't even start setting up till about 10:30 at night.
Wow.
So we had to convince this doc, Brian Edlow, that he wanted to be part of this at 10:30 at night. And it took a little while to set up. And the challenge when photographing with an MRI machine, it is just an enormous magnet.
Right.
Like you can't get anything metal anywhere near this thing.
Right.
So, like the camera itself is in the doorway.
Right.
It's actually outside the door looking in.
Mm-hmm.
Any lighting within the room, it's almost like you try to figure out what are your cheapest, most plasticky strobes that have the least metal in them.
Right.
And you can't go into the room with any metal. Like,
absolutely not. No,
you can't even have a belt buckle on.
No belt buckles, all that.
No,
so with the camera equipment, it's a really difficult room to navigate in.
It's very narrow. So we put a couple of small, I think we used old Vivitar 283s.
Right.
And put a blue gel on them in the background. And then, like I said, the MRI itself is this big white tube. And what I did is I sat down with Dr. Edlow and I said, let's get through some of your research slides.
Right.
And let's find one that you really like, but that's got a lot of color. And then what we did is we took a projector, hooked it to a computer, and projected his slide onto the MRI machine using it like a screen.
Wow.
And then again, we had a gobo off that to make sure those colors didn't spill onto the dock. And then the light on the dock didn't hit the MRI machine.
Well, I have to tell you, it's an extraordinary picture, and the setup is just as much work or more. And it's, it brings you in. The colors on the MRI machine that you set up really make you, it makes you think about the complexity of a brain injury.
Yeah. It was, one other technical point for any of these kind of shots, if white light cannot hit your colored light or your projected light because it will blow your colors away.
Right.
So it's really important that you, like the main light on Dr. Edlow was a Dynalite head. It's got an extension tube on it. Mm-hmm. On the end of the extension tube is a grid, but a 10-degree grid that we've even got some cine foil on the right side. So we're illuminating the dock, but we're not that white light is not hitting the background. And then obviously we had a very short period of time that this human brain could be held.
Well, exactly. I was going to bring that up, but that definitely.
Yeah, and I wasn't volunteering my brain for this part of the show.
Speaking of brains, let's move on here to some other portraits, and then we're going to get quickly to travel some stuff.
Sure. So this was done at the MIT Media Lab.
Right.
This is Thad Starner, who was actually a grad student at that point,
right.
And what we've got, this was kind of the very early incarnation of having a computer monitor in your glasses.
That's right, Google Glass.
This was kind of the very beginning of what became Google Glass. Right. And we were just walking around the Media Lab looking for ideas for stories. And
the thing is that, one of the things everybody should know is that Rick has shot listen, we're face facts here in Cambridge, in Mass, in Boston, everywhere. Some of the most important institutions around. Rick has photographed them all. And if you go to his website, which we've been showing off throughout the show at the bottom with the ticker by finding it at rickfriedmanpics.com, check it out and check out his galleries of incredible, incredible people. I just want to go through a few of these quickly because I don't want to miss out on them. But Bill Gates, look at this photo here. I'm going to let Rick tell his quick famous story about this photo because
we had to set up hours before, so Keiko and I go in and set up, and
right.
Keiko's we're talking and before we start shooting, and Keiko says to Bill Gates, "Do you have keys in your pocket?" Like he's feeling to see if he has car keys in his pocket, like he drove himself to the shoot, which I'm pretty sure he didn't. But this was it was the test shot, but it was the best picture of the take.
Well, it's a gorgeous shot, and it's always an honor to shoot.
He was great. He was terrific to work with.
Yeah. Take pictures of such a incredible human being who's done so much for the world and in this world, technology and humanity wise. And then, wow, this blew me away when I saw this because I know it's been published still everywhere many, many times. But this photo is just so wild because you look at this young kid and look at what has developed years later. And good or bad,
he dropped out of Harvard. He couldn't even finish.
Yeah, good or bad, they revolutionized the world,
This one out there, the funny thing about this one, this was from an editor. The assignment was from an editor who I'd worked with a lot. And she calls me up and says, "Rick, I need you to go over to Harvard and photograph these two kids with their computers."
By the name, one of his name is Mark Zucker. Who?
Yeah. So, I said, "You mean MIT?" She said, "No, Harvard." Then she goes, "Hold on." A few seconds later, she comes back, goes, "Oh, darn, I'm late for another meeting. Call this kid, Mark Zuckerberg, and go take his picture. Goodbye." And that was the assignment. That's usually about the direction we get usually is, here's a name. Go find him and figure out what to do.
Right. Wow. But, another great setup shot, which we'll hit on just briefly here, is a wonderful look at all the incredible setup, all the equipment, the lighting, the strobes, the filters. The
gels.
The gels and the kits that Rick uses. Take a look at this, folks, and then take a look at the beauty of what Rick Friedman creates. Look at that. Just gorgeous. You should look him up on YouTube, find him on his site, check out all of his videos that he has online. And one day, when we get back to semi-normalcy and everything, please take one of his workshops because the portraits that he creates, you too can learn to create, and experience tells the story. But I love this one, Rick.
Thank you. Yeah, this is Antonio, who is an accordion player, lives in the north end of Boston, and still 94 years old. He still performs.
Wow, I love it.
I'll tell you something on the workshops. Really quickly. First of all, the subtitle of the workshops is "Lighting and Laughing."
Okay.
I want you to have a good time at it.
There you go.
I also want, Keiko and I start every workshop the same way, which is we go around the room, ask everybody to introduce themselves. Please tell us what you do, and please tell us what you would like to learn in this workshop. So we make sure we cover it.
Okay.
So we will go from really creative flash on camera, and there are ways to do really creative flash on camera, to these really elaborate lighting setups in a couple of days. And then the final picture, which I think we're going to get to, are a couple of what we call silly group photographs.
Yeah, we'll go through that. But the one thing...
I'll let you carry on.
The one thing here, oh no, please. Rick is not known as a nature photographer, but I tell you, even when he's out and about, and he went on this safari once, and
these are from South Africa.
Yep, this is rush hour in South Africa, folks.
This is unbelievable. Is it 2 year and a half old? And they were just running around, just playing.
Wow. You nailed it. What a great shot.
If you can shoot sports,
right,
or, if you know to see things in front of you and you know to see light,
right,
then how human or inhuman, without going on to any other comments about that, your subjects are, you should be able to capture it.
Exactly. But, the other, this photo is just stunning from the UAE when you were there. The penguins are classic. Look at them. They're so cute. I had to throw in this one. Oh, my God. I love the Cubs. Look at that. I mean, but see, it's still the difference between experience and working and knowing, being ready for the moments. And you too, folks, everybody, experiment. Work the cameras, get out there, shoot, have fun with your photography, and you get better and better at doing it. Like Rick Friedman, who's a veteran here that's been gracing us with his presence this morning. But let's get on to some incredible few travel shots as we close out here. But look at. Let's roll through a few of these before we get into a little more dialogue here. I just want to run through these. Look at this, London. We have where is this, Rick?
It's actually in central Massachusetts.
Okay, so look at that beautiful fall foliage there with the perfect.
We had a great fall foliage season this year.
Oh my God! Wow, this is stunning, man! Stunning.
Thank you.
London here, absolutely gorgeous as well. The Moulin Rouge in Paris. I'm always going to throw in a little French when I can. And then okay, so go ahead. I'll let you roll with this one for a sec.
Yeah, this is the main mosque in Abu Dhabi.
Right.
And it is absolutely amazing. I mean, and you can go in there, and as long as you're respectful, you can wander around and make pictures. And, like any other photograph, we're looking for light and shapes. So, but the Grand Mosque was amazing. I actually went to it at Blue Hour 2 days in a row.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was just, shooting there was just, like I said, it was amazing.
Well, this photo is dreamy. I mean, it's something right out of a dream. I mean, it's just, it's perfect. The reflections, the lighting, and this is the thing. The mosque, the lights on the mosque were doing the light for you. This isn't a Rick Friedman lighting kit.
No, I did not like this mosque, but
no, I just wanted to make that different, that exclamation mark here, because this is the real light and not just some.
Yeah, no, I just go to these places,
right.
And look at your light and spend a lot of time staring at the clouds.
There you go.
Kind of thing, and this, I was introduced to this, before I went to the Exposure Festival. They had asked me to judge their contest, which I believe, if it's not open now, it should be open very soon. Sure. This is a terrific contest for the Exposure International Photography Festival.
Check it
and
out.
If you win, you get to go to UAE.
There you go. Check it out, folks. Check out. We've been running the banner with the information below on the screen here because we want to make sure that people know about the Exposure Film Festival, Photography Festival. Check it out on Instagram and their website. And then, man, wow, South Beach, baby, right?
Well, everybody goes to South Beach and everybody shoots the Colony.
Right.
And I have lots of other pictures of the Colony that I like, but on this particular trip, I think which was 2 years ago now, I had gone to Florida. I was doing a series of workshops. I did the Miami Photography Festival, and then I taught in Naples, and I taught in St. Augustine. And again, if you're listening around the country or even around the globe, once we get out of this pandemic, we're going to go back to being on the road and teaching these workshops. The workshops are fairly small. So, some workshops you go to when you get there and there are 100 people. I mean, if there are 2 instructors, you're going to have, if there are 25 people, you're going to have 2 instructors and plenty of gear.
Right.
So,
you want to check out Rick's workshops, and and learn about the beautiful lighting that he uses to create everything from that. Also, Rick has done a lot of work with infrared photography here. We're showing off a little work here. Love this gorgeous picture in infrared. So is this one and this one. Tell us quickly about a little dibbling and dabbling in infrared, Rick.
I shoot this stuff with an old Nikon 300S.
Okay. But explain to people just in a brief moment here that you have to have a camera fitted for this.
What you do is you take a camera.
Right.
And I've had mine done with a company out in the West Coast called LifePixel.
Right.
And you go to their site and there are all these different settings of which filter you want in the camera. Mm-hmm. And I don't have a Nikon Z, but I do understand there is a way with that camera that you can get it to do all the different things. Mm-hmm. My camera is set for 720 nanometers. So this is roughly the effect you get out of it. Okay, and I like this intense look out of it.
Yeah, Chicago. And then where is this?
That is Zion National Park.
Okay, look at that. Beautiful in the national park.
It was just, the light was right.
Yeah.
And
it really was. It really was. But then we're going to get back to, in closing here, for the great hour and plus we've spent with Rick on a classic shot that was the cover of Newsweek once of Lady Liberty on the 4th of July. Wow, man, just an absolutely stunning picture. And then, of course, we have another great one here from Boston. I'm sorry, I'm drawing
the Zakim Bridge.
The Zakim Bridge, right? Just look at that light, man! Wow, talk about sunset chasing, and then this photo to close the discussion with Rick. Man, I tell you, man, who wouldn't want this on their wall, folks? Look at this, a work of art. Rick,
that's me off for another assignment.
No, you got to check out Rick Friedman, pics.com. His photos are for sale. His workshops are always ones that you should attend and check out. I have to tell you in closing, we're going to talk about right here the location lighting workshops that will be available again one day. I'm going to let Rick close with that information, and then we're going to wrap it up here, baby. Go ahead. Tell them about it, Rick.
Well, I mentioned something about the workshops, that they really are hands-on workshops. We have models come, we go through different things, and you get to do everything. Whoops, and I'm not getting in front of my light. There we go. I could change the color of my hair one last time.
It's okay. We'll let the workshop image be up there so people can remember.
Yeah. So the workshops, like I said, they're really hands-on. I personally shoot with Nikons and Sonys. Keiko shoots with Canons and Sonys. So we've got a good working knowledge of it. We're going to bring a lot of the gear. I mean, you need to bring yourself a camera and a lens.
There you go.
And we have tons of pocket wizards. Like I said, we do them here. We do them. I do an event every year called the Can-Am Photo Expo, which is either.
Hey, hold on 1 second, Rick. I just want to mention, I know that this is the tail end. Sometimes the people drop off quickly, but I just want to mention, please, folks, we have a large viewership still watching. If you haven't shared this broadcast, please share the Spin It Social Hour on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or YouTube. Your platform of viewing choice. Please share Rick's work and this broadcast. Let everybody know about him. I'm sorry, Rick. Go ahead. Close out.
No, that's great. So what I was saying is the Can-Am Photo Expo, which is either in Buffalo or Niagara Falls, assuming we're ever allowed back across the border. It's a terrific hands-on event. I teach a lot of unique photo. In Fairfield, New Jersey, great organization, also the Photo Center. And then, all over the country, we're going to be teaching at the Mid-Coast Photo Workshop coming up.
Okay.
Assuming, again, everything is dependent. Once we're released, we're going to start scheduling a lot more. We also do private tutoring.
Once we're released back out into the wild again.
Yeah. So we do private tutoring either online or one-on-one. So sometimes people will will come to the studio?
No joking about this, folks. I'm joking about the release, but I'm being serious here. I'm going to put this on for a second, and I'm going to tell everybody, I want everybody to continue wearing their masks. I got this beautiful mask right here from a great friend that I was introduced to by Claudia Paul. Be sure to check out fashion stylist extraordinaire, Carlton Estilo Jones. I tell you, here's Carlton right here. Doing his thing, fashion designer and coach extraordinaire. He designed this beautiful mask, and I got one. I love it. Look at the colors on this for Pride Week. I celebrate my Pride brothers and sisters, and I grew up around the Pride community and in Greenwich Village. I love these colors, and I wanted to show them off here. We took our son and about 2 years ago to the Pride Parade and had a great time. Whoa, here comes the major sun, folks. But Rick, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that I want everybody to be safe during this pandemic. So check out rickfriedmanpics.com. Therese, thank you for being here. Super spin it. All right. Yay, Carlton from Claudia. Let me tell you, folks, in the future, check him out at his workshops. You will learn so much. Rick, hold on. I'm going to close out, and then I'll be right back. All right?
All right. Hey, thanks, everybody, for watching. And if I can help anybody, you want to drop me a note, It's rick@rickfriedman.com.
Okay.
Or on any of the social media. I try to answer everything. And, if I tell people, if I don't get back to you fairly quickly, it means I'm traveling on assignment, spacey, or 2 out of 3, but I will get back to you if you follow up.
All right.
So please do, and thanks for everybody's time, and thanks for listening.
Oh, please. Thank you, Rick. I tell you, with the lighting here today, my light is beaming through left, right, and then going away. So, something's going on outside.
That's why you want to control your light.
I know. I'm learning. But anyway, hold on 1 second. I'm going to close out. All right?
All right. Thanks.
All right. Okay. So, folks, we've been here on the Spin It Social Hour again. Please stay tuned for one more second. I want to tell you about my next week's guest. Oh, my God. I am so thrilled to bring on the great Richard Sandler. Richard Sandler is one of my mentors early on. I took a course with him at ICP, and we became friends, and I've been a big fan of his classic New York City street photography for years. Let me tell you, you are in for an amazing treat next week in street photography. Richard has some books out that I want to tell you about when we have him on. And I tell you, he's a master of street photography and a great guy to boot. You're going to love the stories with Richard. Tune in next week on Saturday, December 5th for the Spin It Social Hour at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And you're going to just love it. It's going to be a great hour. And I wanted to also thank the sponsor of this show, my man Emilio Pardo, a visionary brand strategist. We are working on a bunch of stuff, folks, but just know there will be a new show soon. Tune in online and stay aware of Real Talk Live from the Barn that we will be showing very soon. A new episode coming up dealing with all issues COVID related. And we're going to start off the year with a bang with some really great information from some top experts out there. Here's a quick look.
Hi there. Welcome to Real Talk Live at the Barn.
So Real Talk Live from the Barn, new episodes to be airing soon. I wanted to bring on to mention Emilio Pardo once again because he has been a tremendous supporter and dearest friend of mine for years now. This show is incredible. The reason we call it Real Talk Live from the Barn is he has an incredible barn behind his house that has been turned into an incredible think tank place where he has some of the top experts from around the world that have been there in the past. We recently had on Seth Harris, who, by the way, Seth Harris is former Deputy Secretary of Labor under President Obama. He is also a candidate for Secretary of Labor under President-elect Joe Biden. I know he's my choice. Anyway, an incredible authority on the subject. I hope that President-elect Biden chooses him. That's just my humble opinion. But I wanted to mention that he was a guest on Real Talk Live from the Barn. It is pinned on Pardo Vision, which is Emilio's Twitter handle. You can check it out. And we'll also have it up on YouTube. So anyway, it's been a great Spin It Social Hour. Thank you for being here, everybody. I'm going to tune out now with the card up for Richard Sandler next week. Be safe, be well, and thank you for being here. Take care, everybody.